kind of making a lot of gay jokes and like trying to normalize all of these gay jokes. But Hugh Jackman has been plagued with rumors of homosexuality throughout his entire career. So back to Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. They're in this bromance at the time that he separates from his wife, and you just wonder, Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Hefner have a relationship or something. Anyways, people really began upping the questioning of his sexuality after he played this really flamboyant character in the Broadway play. It's because we are learning that Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, will be deposed. And I suspect that might be making Ryan Reynolds extremely nervous, and I'll tell you why. It's because we are learning that Hugh Jackman, Wolverine, will be deposed. And I suspect that might be making Ryan Reynolds extremely nervous, and I'll tell you why.
What's the deal with Ryan Reynolds and his bromance obsession? Seriously, the guy can't stop flaunting his friendships, especially with Hugh Jackman, like it's some kind of Hollywood reality show. For years, he's been shoving these best bud moments down our throats. But lately, things have taken a turn. Whispers are flying, lawsuits are exploding, and suddenly, this charming Deadpool star's world looks a lot messier than we thought. Stick around, because what's unraveling now might just blow your mind.
And then they went back and they did some filming after the SAG-AFTRA strike, and somebody had admitted that they had done all of that dog pool filming. I said dog poo.
The guy trying to replace Ryan as a husband and me as his best mate. Holy shit. What the hell are you doing messing with my best buddy's wife?
That Hugh Hefner then appeared at the It Ends With Us premiere. Again, not his movie. Kind of weird that he's hitting the red carpet with them. He obviously knows what is going on. What would that conversation have been on the way to the premiere?
Reynolds has never been shy about his guy crushes. Jake Gyllenhaal, Hugh Jackman, you name it, he's turned their hangouts into front page news. But his bond with Jackman, that's next level. In a 2025 Men's Journal chat, he straight up called their 17-year friendship a marriage. Yeah, you heard that right. He compared grabbing beers with Wolverine to a lifelong commitment. The pair's practically inseparable, chatting non-stop, teaming up for Deadpool and Wolverine, and popping up at each other's events like it's their job. It's sweet, sure, but why does a 48-year-old dad of 4 pour so much cash and energy into screaming bromance from the rooftops? Something about it feels off. And what happened next only cranked up the weirdness.
So he was one of the unnamed dragons, if you will, in all of this. And it looks like for that, he is being awarded for his contributions with a deposition. Hugh Jackman is going to be deposed before the trial because Baldoni's legal team wants to get the full scope of Reynolds' conduct.
Picture this, September 2023, Hugh Jackman drops a bombshell. After 27 years, he's splitting from his wife, Deborah Lee Furness. Nearly 3 decades as Hollywood's golden couple, poof, gone. They called it a shift for individual growth, but the timing? Suspicious as heck. Jackman was neck deep in filming Deadpool and Wolverine with Reynolds when the news hit. Fans started buzzing. Was the pressure of these massive projects cracking their fairy tale marriage? Or was something juicier bubbling under the surface? The rumor mill was about to kick into overdrive.
Ryan's kind of perpetually highly publicizing his bromances is something that I find to be quite strange, right? Mostly because he's a 48-year-old man, Ryan Reynolds. He has 4 kids. And he seems to dedicate a lot of time and resources, like financial resources.
Particularly when it comes to Hugh Jackman.
Jackman's no stranger to gossip. For years, people have whispered about his sexuality. He married Furness, 13 years older when he was just 28, and some called her a beard from day one. Then there's his Broadway flair. Take The Boy from Oz. He played a flamboyant gay icon and even locked lips with a male co-star, a move he added to the script himself. Fast forward to 2021, and he's cozying up to Sutton Foster during The Music Man. By January 2025, the internet's losing it over blurry pics of them together. Right as his marriage crumbled, Jackman swears it's all platonic, but with no prenup splitting their $250 million fortune, this divorce is messy. Could these old rumors tie into something bigger? Hold that thought, because across town, Blake Lively's stirring up her own storm.
Justin Baldoni's podcast partner flew her all the way over, presumably to the UK, to provide her expert testimony as to why bromances are like totally chill.
Of the word bromance is just, it's a platonic relationship between two men.
December 2024, Blake Lively slaps Justin Baldoni with a lawsuit. She claims sexual harassment and retaliation on the It Ends With Us set, and it's ugly. Baldoni fires back with a $400 million defamation countersuit, roping in Reynolds and their publicist too. What started as a quiet dispute has blown up into a full-on Hollywood circus, set for trial in March 2026. Lively's team is scrambling to shield private texts, think chats with Reynolds and Taylor Swift, from leaking. They're begging for an attorney's eyes only order, terrified of what might spill. But here's the kicker: Hugh Jackman's caught in the crossfire, and what Candace Owens dropped next flipped the whole game.
So bromance is almost this permission for men to connect and to show love to each other, because it's like a joke.
So I'll ask the question, who out there needed that to be explained to them? He recently divorced his wife of 27 years. Her name is Deborah Lee Furness.
Owens didn't hold back. She spilled that Jackman's getting deposed in this legal mess. Wolverine himself dragged into court. Baldoni's lawyers want the full scope of Reynolds' behavior during It Ends With Us filming, and Jackman's their golden ticket. Why? He was shoulder to shoulder with Reynolds the whole time, filming Deadpool and Wolverine, hyping Lively's movie, you name it. This isn't some bystander gig. Jackman's deep in the mix. Owens says it's proof he's part of Reynolds' bullying squad. And if that's true, it could shred Jackman's nice guy image. Reynolds must be sweating bullets, because what came up next ties it all together in the creepiest way.
He and his wife are separating. Now, factually speaking, no judgment from me, but Hugh Jackman has been plagued with rumors of homosexuality throughout his entire career. It has been speculated. 27 years is a very long time to be married. They announced their separation to the public in September of 2023. Now, just to plot that on a timeline for you, that was in the midst of the principal filming for Deadpool and Wolverine.
Remember that It Ends With Us promo skit? Reynolds directed it, and it's a train wreck. Jackman's in it, Lively's lurking in the back, and Reynolds' mom even shows up. It's got nothing to do with the movie's domestic violence plot. Instead, it's a weird flex that reeks of mocking Baldoni. Jackman plays himself, but not just himself. He's dishing out jabs like he's in on some inside joke. Then he hits the premiere's red carpet, grinning ear to ear, despite having zero role in the film. That's not just supporting a pal, that's someone neck deep in the drama. Owens calls it straight. Jackman's complicity is why he's facing a deposition. But that wasn't the whole story.
Some might say, oh, that's ageist. People thought this is quite strange. He was 28 years old when they got married. She was 41 years old. So many people were saying right off the bat, no. This guy is using her as a beard, which is the term that people use when you're in like one of these cover marriages. And like I told you, that accusation, it can be real in a lot of circumstances. It goes on a lot in Hollywood. Anyways, people really began upping the questioning of his sexuality after he played this really flamboyant character in the Broadway play. Hugh Jackman opted to kiss his male co-star throughout this production, even though in the original screenplay, there was no kiss between the male stars.
Enter Taylor Swift. She's not just Lively's BFF, she's all over It Ends With Us. Swift pushed for Isabella Ferrer to play young Lively, and her track My Tears, Ricochet, landed on the soundtrack. She was a powerhouse behind the scenes, but now she's dodging this lawsuit like the plague. Sources say she's in hiding, desperate to avoid a deposition. If she's so tied to the project, why clam up? Was she in on the Baldoni takedown too? Her silence is deafening, and it's got people wondering just how dirty her hands might be. But the wildest twist was still brewing.
Anyway, so back to Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds. They're in this bromance at the time of the separation from his wife, and you just wonder if that's also partially the reason why Blake's team is adamant that they need this AEO determination. They want the judge to agree to an attorney's eyes only designation to protect, as they term it, highly confidential information that could destroy the careers of the third-party people that are involved. Okay, so third party, meaning they're not listed in this lawsuit as plaintiffs or defendants, but they're third parties and they're gonna get deposed.
YouTuber Melanie King threw a grenade into this mess. She claims this lawsuit isn't about Lively, it's Reynolds' ego trip. Her theory? Lively's a beard, a prop to mask Reynolds' real obsession, Hugh Jackman. King points to Reynolds freaking out over Lively's chemistry with Baldoni, turning it into a legal vendetta. That 17-year marriage line isn't cute anymore. It's a red flag. These two are glued at the hip, sharing fears, plotting projects, and maybe more. King says Reynolds doesn't care if he tanks his family's image, as long as he keeps control. If she's right, this golden boy is about to crash hard, and what happened next shows how deep this rabbit hole goes.
It would have to be that in some manner or another, that person is a fraud, right? In some manner or another, that person is a fraud. So whether it's how they're publicly presenting their sexuality, whether it's how they're publicly presenting their brand. So Blake Lively's team was like, we want to be able to decide by ourselves as attorneys that this text message between Taylor and Blake Lively is AEO, which means no one else can see it but the attorneys.
This isn't just a personal feud, it's Hollywood's power game laid bare. The New York Times claimed Baldoni smeared Lively, but he's suing them for $250 million, screaming defamation. Swift's publicist allegedly leans on big outlets to spin narratives, and the elite circle, Swift, Reynolds, Jackman, closes ranks to stay untouchable. Who's really driving this chaos? The media's a chessboard, and careers hang on who controls the story. As Jackman's deposition looms and Swift hides, it's clear. What we see is a polished lie, the truth that's still clawing its way out.
Confidentiality agreement and the court protective order, the standard court protective order, should suffice. Well, Judge Lehman came back with a decision to allow a limited AEO, which I think is exactly what Justin Baldoni's team was asking for.
So here we are. Reynolds' bromance empire might be teetering. Jackman's divorce, Lively's lawsuit, and Swift's ghosting. It's a tangled web that could unravel his whole lovable guy shtick. With the trial creeping up in 2026, every deposition's a ticking bomb. Will Jackman spill something that flips Reynolds' world upside down? Or will this all settle quietly behind closed doors? One thing's for sure, the Hugh Jackman-Ryan Reynolds saga's got more secrets than we've cracked yet. What do you think's hiding in those texts? And who's sweating the most right now?